Hi everyone, this is Shauna Charosa, RAYAC Executive Officer, and this is my desk. And in this video cast, we go over questions that are coming across my desk every single day so we can have much smoother real estate transactions here in York and Adams counties. And today I have a question where I am not exaggerating. We literally get this question almost every single day at the RAYAC office. And that question is, what do I need to do to get my real estate license in Pennsylvania? So to help me answer that question, I brought in RAYAC's expert on everything related to the Pennsylvania Real Estate Commission. I'm pleased to introduce my guest today is Maria Carlson. She is RAYAC's Professional Development Director here at the association, and she is our guru on everything you need to know to get your real estate license. So Maria, welcome.
Well, thank you. It's good to be here. I'm glad to help answer these questions. I think there's a lot of people out there that are interested and they want to know what are the steps and what do they have to do. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's kick it off. So there are 2 courses to get your real estate license in Pennsylvania. Can you provide us with some details about both those courses?
Sure, yeah. So the state of Pennsylvania requires that you take 75 hours of education before they allow you to sit for the licensing exam itself. Those 75 hours are broken down into 2 classes. The first one is Real Estate Fundamentals, which is 30 hours long. The second one is Real Estate Practice, which is 45. So together you get your 75 hours, and once you pass both of those, you can sit for the licensing exam through the state.
Okay, so in order to pass the courses, do you need to take a final exam for both courses?
Yes, each of those 2 courses has a final exam, and you have to pass each one with a 75% in order to get a transcript.
Okay, so we got to pass both courses, 75% on both of those final exams. Now, does RAYAC offer these courses in person?
We do. We offer them in person in our classroom here at our building, and our schedule is such that we do 1 class each month because it takes between 2.5 and 3.5 weeks to finish each class. So we do January, we would do fundamentals. February, we would do practice. March, fundamentals. April, practice, and so on throughout the year. So we are offering one of the 2 required classes every month, and in any given 2-month period, you can get them both done.
Okay. And when do we offer them? Evenings, weekends?
Yep, so our schedule is Monday and Wednesday evenings from 6 to 9:30, and then Saturdays from 9 to 2 for fundamentals and 9 to 3 for practice because that class is a little bit longer. So that's why it's about 2.5 weeks for fundamentals and about 3.5 for practice in a given month.
So a student would have to come to every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday to get the appropriate hours?
Yes, that's right. Now, you can miss a small percentage of classes and still get credit per the Real Estate Commission, but I'm sure most students would want to be there and not miss anything. So there's a lot of information packed into there that they'll be tested on.
Okay. So do you need a book to take the classes here in person?
Yes, if you take them in the classroom, you need a book. We have 1 textbook that covers both classes. The front half is fundamentals, the back half is practice. And yeah, you would need that in order to keep up in the classroom.
Okay. So for students who aren't able to come in person Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, do we offer an online option?
We do offer an online option, and that you would sign up through our website and you would just work at your own convenience on your own device. You could do it evenings, weekends, holidays, it doesn't matter when. You just log on and off whenever it's convenient for you. You would have to go through each chapter, and there is a quiz at the end of each chapter that you would have to pass with a 75% in order to move on to the next chapter. But if you don't make that 75, you can go back and reread and take the quiz again until you pass it. So that is completely your own schedule. There is no textbook required. There's no teacher. So there's also no one to ask questions of. You just would need to read the material again. So that's how the online program works.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably important to say one more time. There's no teacher. It's not Zoom. You don't have any resources. If you take it online, you're reading it all on your own, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so now let's say I've either done my in-person classes or my online classes. I've passed both of my final exams for those 2 classes. What are the next steps?
Okay, so I actually like to break the process down into 3 steps. The first one is take your 2 classes, pass them both with a 75%. That's step 1. Step 2, you want to schedule to take the licensing exam through the state. You'll have to provide the 2 transcripts, you'll have to send in an application with your information, and you'll have to pay the fee, which as of now is $49 to take that exam. It's broken down into 2 parts, the state and national. I suggest you take them both at the same time. That way, if you pass one section and not the other, you're only having to redo one part and you'll have an idea of where you need to work. So that's how taking the state exam works. Then the third part, like they're not going to hand you the license when you pass the state exam. The third step is to submit an application to the Pennsylvania State Real Estate Commission. At that time, you'll have to know who your broker is going to be, because the state will not issue a license unless you designate who you're going to work for. So you'll have to submit your state exam results, your application to the state, and your fee, which I believe is around $100. Last time I checked, it may be close. 96, 98, something like that.
So going back to the sitting and taking the state and national exam, can that be done in person or is it online? How is that proctored?
Yep, you can do it either way. If you take your courses online, you can still take your exam in person if you want to for the state. So you have the option to do it online or live at a local facility or up in Harrisburg, whatever you'd rather do, you can do it either way. Now I should go back to, you made me think of something. When you take your classes online, you have to take the final exam for that fundamentals or practice class online. There is no in-person option for the final exam if you did your coursework online.
Okay. And let's say, unfortunately, let's say a student might not pass the state or national exam. Are they able to retake that?
Yes. They can take that as often as they want, as many times as you like. It is going to cost $49 every time you take it.
So every time it's going to take them $49. All right. So we completed step 1. We got our courses completed, got our 2 transcripts. Then we took our state and national exam. We passed those.
We're assuming.
Now we're going into the third step, which is applying to get that real estate license. And you indicated that before they can make application to get their real estate license, they need to affiliate with a brokerage company.
Correct.
So what advice do you give students when they're looking to which brokerage company, who should they affiliate with? Can we recommend anybody?
Yeah, and students do ask me that all the time. Who do you suggest? And that's a really good question because it's kind of an area that they don't have any experience with. And we actually do not recommend any broker, and we do that for 2 reasons. The first reason is all the brokerages are members, or virtually all of them are members of our association, and we don't show preference to any one or the other. So it's not our place to recommend anyone. The bigger reason, I think, is that every brokerage is different and every agent is different. So you really need to figure out what you need and who's going to provide that. There are different commission splits, different training, mentoring. Do you have to rent your space? Do you pay every time you make a copy? There's so many things that they all do differently, and you really need to. Another thing is working part-time. Some companies allow that, others don't. So you need to find the right match for you. So we suggest you interview with several brokers, have your list of questions. What do you need? What are you looking for out of this relationship? And then go with who you feel the most comfortable with.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. And probably one thing I might even follow up with that is to say, I would have those conversations with those brokers before you even entertain taking the classes. Because I think there are some things that a lot of people don't recognize. Like number 1 is we've had this question before, am I a salaried employee when I get my real estate license? And most likely that answer is no, because nationally, 85% of real estate licensees are independent contractors. That means you are starting up your own business completely on your own. So you are not going to be a salaried employee. We're going to get a salary every 2 weeks. You're not going to get company health care benefits, any of that. You are an independent contractor who is starting up their own business. So things to know about that is you, just like any other business startup, you need to be aware of there are going to be startup costs. So there might be advertising fees up front that you're going to be paying. You're joining an MLS. You might decide to join a realtors association. There's dues for that. You might decide to get headshots. You got to get your word out there about who you are and that you're in the real estate business. There is a lot of upfront costs that you need to consider before you get your real estate license. And also, probably many of these real estate licensees who are newly in the business, it is going to be a while before you actually receive a commission for getting
Having sold a home.
It's not going to happen in a month. So you need to plan accordingly, right?
Right, exactly. And we do have on our website, all this information is on our website. We also do have a list of questions that you can take with you when you're selecting a broker. So that is on our website as well, if that gives you some guidance as to what kinds of things you want to ask. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I think that is unknown to the applicants is you're not going to get a paycheck every month, and it can be months before you sell a home, and then you're not earning anything in that during that time. So there's a lot about the business and being an independent contractor that I think is new for a lot of folks.
Exactly. So before you take that deep dive into getting into the real estate industry, make sure you do that research. Start early, start often, start having conversations with us because we're here. Maria is fantastic at answering all of these questions. So, Maria, if someone is interested in signing up either for the online or the in-person classes, where do they go?
So if they want to sign up for the online, that's easier. I'll do that one first. That is on our website. Since it's online, you have to sign up online. You can't come in the office and do that. If you want to sign up for the classroom, you can also do it in the same place online. There's a classroom tab and an online tab. You would pick the one you want. Or if you want to come into the office and manually fill out an application and make your payment, you can do that as well.
Awesome. Any other wise words of advice to leave anybody who's contemplating getting their real estate license?
Well, I would just say go into it with open eyes. Like Shauna said, ask the right questions. Ask them now. You don't want to go through the process of spending that time and money to find out that this is not the career for you. So I think a little bit of homework at the front end would be a good thing before you, like you said, before you delve into it. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for providing that information. We hope you found that helpful when you're making these big, large career decisions in your life. And if there's ever any other questions that you would like us to address here on this video blog, please feel free to reach out to me because my doors and ears are always open to you. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.